We are happy to welcome you to the Support Group Leader Roundtable. I am Clemi Pizzillo with the Parkinson and Movement Disorder Alliance, and I have here with me my friends Kelly and Kiana, who are always ready to help us if we have any technical difficulties. So to get started today, we're gonna quickly review some collaboration agreements. If I can get my computer to work. How about that? We were talking about technical difficulties, and there I am with the technical difficulties myself.
There you go.
Yep, there it goes. It wants to work and then it doesn't. So there are some collaboration agreements we have for us to review real quick, technically mute and unmute as you need it. If you have some background noise, please mute yourself, and so that everyone else can hear what we are sharing here. And if you need help with technology, Kelly and Kiana are here to help you. I also want to remind you that the main goal for us to host these support group leader roundtables are for all of us to exchange insights and build relationships and collaboration. We want you to come to these meetings with a purpose and move with intent towards the goals that you are trying to achieve in your community. Given that, we love our chat storms because we always love hearing from you, and we want to warm up your fingers. So in your chat at the bottom of the screen, please share with us, what is the number one piece of advice you give someone who is newly diagnosed? What is that one piece of advice? And I am trying to look at the chat to see what it is that we are sharing today. Some of the examples that we have here for you about those pieces of advice, maybe we tell them to seek support and join a support group. Or, the usual, engage in exercise, any form of exercise. The best exercise is the one that we actually do. Or, educate yourself. Join your life online with PMD Alliance and learn more about how to manage the disease. And I love that one from Susan. She says, build your team. Yes, build a team, your care and support team. Who is going to be part of that team? Your physical therapist, your occupational therapist, speech, your healthcare providers. How are you going to communicate with them? Are you going to do it through a portal, or are you going to get a phone number of a person that you can call on a regular basis? I love it. Number one, exercise. Yes, keep moving. And there you go. Anyone else? Okay. Number two, diet and nutrition. Very important too. Having a nutritionist as part of your care and support team. Getting on that early on in your journey with the disease. And thank you to everyone who's connecting, joining us today. We're warming up. There you go, breaking the ice with a question for everyone to share with us in our chat about the number one piece of advice that we can give someone with who's newly diagnosed. And I see, find a group in your area and meet other people living with PD. Exercise. Thank you, Karen, for that. Yes, a shout out to Yes and Exercise. That is Karen's secret sauce. Love it. And how about socializing? Yes, connecting with others and letting everyone know you're not alone. Find someone with PD to talk to. I love that one. Find your passion, something that makes you wake up every morning and feel like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to do that. I'm gonna go see my people. I'm gonna hang out with my peeps. That's how I woke up this morning. It's like, yay, Monday, support group leader roundtable. I get to see all of you once a month, and that is super exciting. So thank you to everyone who connected. And we are going to move on after we share our ideas. And we have a quick poll for everyone. So we have 2 questions for you today. And that is, do you have some form of mentorship program in your group, in your support group, or in your community? And the other question is, have people in your group expressed interest for a mentor or interest for connecting with someone? And we're going to see those responses. There you go. If you need any help or guidance answering those questions in the poll, let us know. It just pops up and you click on one or the other, yes or no, and submit. There you go. Seems like we're almost done. We're going to take a couple more seconds. Oh, and for the ones that are responding, yes, we are very curious to learn more about what that mentorship program in your group looks like. Okay, thank you everyone for sharing. I think we got all the responses. Yes, we have. There you go. And look at that. Go ahead, we can share the results. And we see about half and half. Some of you have some form of mentorship program in your group. And some people have expressed, less than 50% of people have expressed interest in connecting with a mentor. So thank you for that, for sharing those results, those with us. I am trying to move to my next slide and I can't. I don't know why. Oh, there you go. So given those questions, we have a very interesting topic for all of you today, and that is building a mentorship program in your community. And to talk about that topic, we have a special guest that some of you may have met in Austin, Texas at the All In Summit. We had Susan Lehman doing this presentation as well, and we thought it was very well received. So we invited her back to have this conversation with all of us. Susan actually was the one that got the PD peer support program at the University of Pennsylvania, and she also consulted on the program at the Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia as well. And she created the peer support program with the Twitchy Woman. So most of you probably have heard about the Twitchy Woman program and their support group. They meet on Sundays and the blog post, and some of you are cheering. Yeah, we know her. So given that introduction, I want to welcome Susan. Thank you for being here today, and take it away.
Good morning, everybody. I want to just say one thing. I created the Twitchy Women's Peer Support Program with a team at Twitchy Woman. Even though I was the leader, I don't want to discount all the support we got from our little core group of women who created it with me. What mainly happened was they wanted to create a program. Somebody heard about me and then brought me in and realized I had done all this legwork already. So I got to take the lead. The red notebook slide. Next. I'm supposed to say next, so I get a new slide. So when I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, of course, it was a process like most of you know that we go through, but we knew pretty early on I had Parkinson's because of my genetics and because I did. But a few months into it, I finally saw a movement disorder specialist, and he was a very nice doctor, and he handed me a red notebook, and he said, this is a lot of information on Parkinson's and the local resources and you know, basically, and he said, do you want a prescription? I said, no. And he said, I'll see you in 6 months. Very nicely, but that's what we usually get in some form or another. I got home, I'd been dealing with this, whatever, and then you finally get the definitive diagnosis and you feel like you've been hit in the head with a hammer. Everybody does. I don't care how long you suspected it or how many people have told you, until the specialist tells you you've been hit in the head with a hammer. I opened the red notebook, and what you see inside is pretty much what was there. There were dividers. There was no information inside the notebook. And that's when I cried. And that's when I started to cry a little bit. And it was an accident. It was a fumble. Somebody forgot to fill the notebook, but I had no resources. I had nothing to do. I had to start from scratch. So I was quickly involved with advocacy through the University of Pennsylvania, and I tried to get, like I said, I instigated the program there. I'm not really involved with it. The social workers took it over, but it took me about 2.5, 3 years for them to get on the program. I realized I had no one to call. Some of the people you said they weren't interested in a mentorship, that, and having a mentor. There are a lot of different names for that. I think most people are interested in having somebody to talk to, whether it's called a mentor or not. But that's how it started. That's how Jefferson came to me. That's how Twitchy Woman came to me. So there was someone to call to say, I was just diagnosed with this. I need some thoughts. I need some direction. I need a shoulder. And sometimes it's been very informal through people's lives. We made it a formality, so you have somebody to talk to. Next, boundaries. I know this is a short presentation compared to what I did with Austin, which was a very involved in how we set it up and everything. So I want to brief through some of the things that we've learned from having this mentorship program for 5 years. By the way, Twitchy Woman has placed well over 300 women with mentors, mostly in North America, but some internationally, since it's almost 5 years. We started it with the pandemic. If you start a mentorship program in your support groups or in a larger group, be careful that the mentee and the mentor have boundaries. Because one of the things that I have found being a mentor for all these years now is some mentees need more than you should be giving as a non-professional. I personally have only taken 1 or 2 mentees from my area. Usually I deal on Zoom. I should not be a mentee's first call in a crisis. That's 911 or their doctor or something. So when you set up a mentor program, you have to decide how long someone is expected to be a mentor, because we at Twitchy Woman say mentors should commit to 6 months. I have to say, there are very few people who don't go beyond that, but that's their choice and the mentees know. Also, sometimes a mentee will come in and say, I need a phone call or 2. Thank you so much. Fine. I've got my thing. Because in boundaries, you want to know what your goals are as a mentor. You probably can't be there forever. You have Parkinson's as a mentor. You have your own needs. And you want to make sure that the person newly diagnosed or even not so newly diagnosed, that's what our flyer says, the newly diagnosed and the not so newly diagnosed, people who find themselves at a transition with their Parkinson's, have the support they need to go to their next step. And that's what I said, your big thing, besides to answer some questions that you can answer, is to build that team. Build a team so they don't need you the way that they think they do, through the right doctors, physical therapists, mental therapists, exercise programs, finding a group, support group, help them build their team, help them through telling their friends, their family, their work situation, help them build a team. I think the next slide is responsibilities, which blends into this. Do we have a responsibility slide? We do, yay. Okay, so I help the mentee build their team. One of the things that I made my living in theater and film, and as a director, you learn when an actor asks you a question about something, the first thing I ask the actor is, what do you think? Because sometimes they just want to say what they think and you say yes or no. So one of the first things, and I want to do this more and more as a mentor, is when the question, instead of giving an answer, ask somebody what they think first. And sometimes they'll come out with their answer, which may even be more specific and stronger than your answer, but you can always pick up and then say, this is what I think. So you help the mentor build a team and also have confidence in their choices in themselves. And I didn't mention that when we were talking, Clemmy, but that's one of the big things, is to ask the mentee what they think they should do, where their strong things are, to help them be their solution. Never, ever, ever give, excuse me, did somebody have a question? Did I hear something? No? Okay. Remind them that their team can be family, can be friends, can be support group. What they need is what they should have. I think we're on to the next slide. Never, ever give medical advice. I have, the first thing I say is call your doctor. And you know when to say call your doctor. You can hear people out, mentees out, to say, I want to try this drug, I want to try that drug. I do give advice like diet, exercise, and medicine is your choice because there is no cure. So a doctor says, I want you to try this. Be my guest, try it. But if it doesn't work, don't let your doctor tell you it doesn't work. You know what works and what doesn't work. But never, never give medical advice. And that's very important to know. And that's where you can say what do you think comes into it greatly too, because hear what they have to say before you tell them what you think. It's very, very important. Also really empowers somebody. It really empowers a mentor to solve their own problems. This is a short presentation, so we're skipping forward. Next, I think we're on time track. Next slide. Remember something when you're in your responsibilities, that comparison is the killer of joy. So most mentors are in fairly good shape. What do I say? Our Parkinson's is slower progressing. We're still fairly active. Not everyone, but we're still pretty active. What I do for exercise may be more or less than what somebody else does, but I do what I need to do for me. And if you, as a mentor, get on the, okay, if I tell, forgive me if like I'm making you compare or something. So I did my slow but passionate 2.5 mile run yesterday. That doesn't mean my mentees should feel bad because they can't do a 2.5 mile run. None of my mentees know that I run 2.5 or 3 miles, or that I do this, or that I do that, because most people, I'd say the majority of people who come may not be able to do that. So comparison is the killer of joy. So it's really not about the mentor. It's really about the mentee, what they can do to move forward. And it's a fine balance, because you don't want them to feel that you're not sharing, but I'm very, very cautious about how I share. And and I talk to our Twitchy Women mentors about that a lot too. And our best mentors know that. Our best mentors are pretty active and they're living very forwardly with Parkinson's. But it is a progressive of the disease that we know is completely unpredictable. So somebody who's had it 2 years may be in a very different situation than I'm in at 8 years. So our job is to guide them for the right choices for them, but to guide them forward for what's right for them. So comparison is the killer of joy, and it's a hard balance sometimes, but it is. And then, and we also, something to know as a mentor, we don't know what they are mentally or physically in other areas of their life. We deal with Twitchy Women, so it's all women. We've had women who come in and we find out that they've had mental issues long before they had Parkinson's, or they have diabetes, or they've had a heart condition, or they have other things. So it really has to be focused on how they live their life, not how you live your life. I mean, you know, not that you can't share anything, but it's something that you have to be very cautious of. So comparison is the killer of joy. And I have to know that for myself, for other people too, because I have people who are richer than me. Comparison is the killer of joy. You know? I think we can go to the next slide. And remember, one of my favorite quotes is, "A bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn." We as mentors are helping our mentees make the turn. When I put in find your passion, a play I wrote a long time ago, one of is, you bury the death of some dreams and find new ones. And all these cliche things, delight in something every day. I don't care if you're passionate about reading a book or planting plants or to everyone, perfect quote example. Okay, thank you, Karen. But you know, if you think you can't, that's life. You've made turns all your life, from going from one school to another, from happy things, hopefully, in strong relationships, to difficult things when relationships end, to empty nesting, to new jobs. We have made bends every time in our life. We have spent a life like that. Parkinson's is a hard, but it's a bend in our road, and we need to make the turn. I think, is that our last slide, I think? And that's my quick presentation. Do we have, I forget what our order is. Do we have questions, or we're going to break into chats? Whatever, I'm done.
Yeah, if anyone has questions right now, you can ask them as we set up the breakout rooms. We're going to go and have a nice discussion about how a mentorship program would look like in your community. If you were to start it or revamp it or grow it, you know, you are welcome to talk about that or something else. It's up to you. And Susan is going to be going to the different breakout rooms also to have conversations with you if you have ideas for more specific questions. And we see Karen raising her hand. So excitedly.
Yes.
Tell us, Karen.
Like I said, I'm sorry I'm late. Also, I wanted to bring attention, Twitchy Woman also has a Twitchies Without Partners every 2 weeks.
If you're not on the Twitch,
awesome group.
If you're not on the Twitchy Woman website, you should be, because as Karen pointed out, they have a Twitchies Without Partners. Now, we're a women's group, but that doesn't mean other people can't read the blog.
Yes.
Karen's a wonderful writer. There's a clinical trial corner where somebody really puts up the latest clinical trials. And yes, it's a women's blog, but that doesn't mean men can't read it. They just can't come to the groups. And so thank you, Karen, for mentioning that.
Yeah, and if I could, I want to mention real quick too. This is how the mentorship works. Oh, who do I got? Okay, this is how the mentorship works a little bit in Yes and Exercise too, and we customize per person. And I really appreciate you telling us the balance you have to keep when you're mentoring people. Yeah, you can share, but you can't share too much. And the way you presented it is wonderful. But we have something new in Yes and Exercise too. I want to make everybody aware of. We partnershiped with Rocksteady Boxing to put together a Rocky-based cinema therapy class. So if you haven't checked out the website recently, please do. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Karen.
Well,
we appreciate you sharing.
I'm the secretary now for Yes and Exercise, so we've been really busy. If you haven't got an email from me yet, you might.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the update as well. So, okay, Kian, are we ready to go into breakout rooms? Yes, excellent. So enjoy those conversations, share insights, and build relationships. We're going to take about 35 to 40 minutes. We'll give you a 5-minute heads up that we are coming back. Make sure you designate a note taker so that we can do some share backs at the end and learn more from each other.
Will you,
And
Clemmy,
go
will you
ahead.
put me into a group? Because I don't know how that works.
Yep,
Okay.
that is taken care of. You are going, you just have to say join.
Okay.
Okay, have fun, everyone. We'll see you in a little bit. Welcome back, everyone. Ooh, Naomi got some company there. I like that. Who else has company? I saw Parky also. Who was waving Parky? There you go.
Yes.
There it is. Susan had it.
They're
Got some-
pressuring me to come, so they send me things.
Oh, that is so wonderful. Thank you. So hopefully you have plans to go to WPC as well. PMD Alliance will be helping with a couple of sessions at the Support Group Leader Lounge.
Well, if Twitchy Woman does get merged, we will definitely be there.
Okay.
Early registration for the WPC starts today.
Yes.
Really? Today is the day. Yay.
Yeah,
Thank you
That's
for
why we were
sharing
twisting
that.
your arm.
I'm all registered.
All right. So how did those conversations go? I cannot wait to hear what 40 minutes did. Hopefully it was enough time to come up with great ideas and some plans to collaborate and build partnerships and grow those relationships. So let's start with group 1, room number 1, who was the designated note taker. We had Esther, Karen, Kathy, and Lauren in that group. What did you come up with?
I'll speak for the group because I took a lot of notes, and I just want to thank you guys because I've never participated in this, and I am now co-running my own support group in where I live, and so I'm very excited to learn from you guys, and just the tips that I was given from the seasoned support group leaders was so invaluable. And I always appreciate learning from other people. And so since I'm kind of trying to reinvigorate this group, they just gave me a lot of really good tips about how to grow my group and how to reach people where they're at, and to make sure that I think we all know having a social worker involved would be the ideal situation, but is unfortunately not always an option. But being able to speak to a social worker in this group was absolutely invaluable. She just did such a good job putting into words a lot of the things that I was thinking. And so I'll give you one thing that she said that I have been trying to figure out how to express this for so long when it comes to hope. And we see a lot of things out there, treatment modalities, alternative therapies, complementary therapies, and people are always curious about that. And I was kind of trying to figure out how to navigate that. And she said, it's important that we don't drain our hopeful reserves. And that resonated so much with me because I mean, I have Parkinson's too, guys. Like I want hope, and I see it in a lot of things, but we have to be good stewards of our energy, our time, our health, and our hope. So I'll leave it at that.
So insightful. Thank you, Esther, for sharing. Yes, anyone else from that group that wants to add something? So yeah, Katie was in that group, and I know what social worker you were talking about. Thank you for sharing all your expertise, Katie. How about Lauren? Do you have anything to add? It was all good. So
we all had a social worker in our group like Katie, because she just has a great way of putting things, and boy, she just got some good experience. It's great.
Yeah, and that's why these round tables are so valuable, because it's your opportunity to connect and brainstorm with other experienced support group leaders that, you know, you may pick up some tips or two. So that is wonderful. Thank you for that. Advice from that group, connect with a social worker. You will get some good tips from that. Let's go to room number 2. Greg, Karen, Bernard, and Susan, what did you come up with? So who's the note taker from that room?
I did not take notes. Did anybody take notes? I'm not used to this. No one did, but basically everybody was putting forth how they handle their mentees. And there was a lot of similarity and a discussion of how they handle their mentees. And a lot of us were very much on the same page. There was a certain terminology exchange that can help with our mentees. I like terminology more than just philosophy. We all have the same philosophy of trying to help our people move forward. Bernard's group is from a distinct population that he has different challenges that some of us have that we have to be respectful of, to remind us of so many of our privileges versus other people, or our, as Bernard would say, that we've had the privilege of being engaged to help other people become engaged. And that's what we talked about.
I like the fact that Bernard talked about being under-engaged. They're not, you know, they're not poor people. They're not people with this attribute or that attribute. They're just under-engaged. And so if you think about it, what can we do as mentors, leaders of this, you know, I agree with Bernard. I don't call anything a support group. My group is called 3085 Thrive. 30 and 85 are the longitude and latitude of Panama City Beach, where I live. And Thrive is what I intend to do.
Well, we're just the Parkinsons. My support group that I formed, we didn't talk about this. I have my own support group outside of Twitchy Women. We're the Parkettes. Yeah.
Beautiful name.
And we are a support group. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. You know, at the summit, we talked about reframing support. If the name of the group matters, the format of the group matters, what matters is what you get out of it. Why do you do it? Right? Because in the end, you are donating your time, your effort, it's your passion. What's in it for you? You know, I am a support group leader as well in my community, and there is a lot that I get out of it personally because they have become my family. So, you know, what's in it for you, whatever you want to call it. So thank you for that feedback, Greg. We appreciate that. Let's see room number 3, Myra, Nancy, and Naomi.
I was going to say, Nancy, would you be able to summarize?
Those of you who know me know I can talk. So I was going to
take it away, Nancy.
Well, no, you don't want me to do that. Let me. So it was the 3 of us, Myra, well, the 4 of us, excuse me, Elpidio. Yeah, right. Naomi and Elpidio, Myra and myself. And first, Myra and I had connected previously. We couldn't figure out in what group or where, but it was just getting to know one another and what brought us to today. And so it was connecting in that respect. And then sharing, and 2 of us are from California, yay, California, but the north with Naomi and Elpidio, and the south with me, and they're in Monterey Bay. I'm in San Diego. And then Myra, Jersey, and the East Coast. And then just talking about how we mentor. Elpidio and Naomi are very involved with the World Parkinson's Congress, and we were talking about that. And then I shared a bit about within San Diego, we have an overriding Parkinson's Association of San Diego. And in it, we have developed a mentor program that has now, Parkinson's Association of San Diego is a member of the Independent Parkinson's Associations nationwide. And you can go on their website to see the mentor program. And several of the other associations have adopted it as well. The director of operations started trying to use a dating program, story for another time. But you can see like the whole profile of like 21 mentors that are in San Diego for newly diagnosed, for care partners, for Hispanic. And you get to choose. And sometimes people are on a waiting list, you know, the mentors are on a waiting list. But now this program, thanks to Jeff and the executive director, Chris Boucher, has been adopted. And so Jeff just sets up the protocol, and then, you know, like Minnesota now uses the program with their own mentors. And it was started by, the brainchild was Tony Jeske, who was on the board of the nonprofit that I run in San Diego, which is, again, underneath the Parkinson's Association of San Diego. But to me, it's really important to let people know just because you have Parkinson's doesn't mean your life is over. I really liked Susan's comment about you know, coming to a bend in the road and you just need to make the curve. Anyway, that's kind of what we were discussing. Guys, jump in. Don't let me do all the talking.
Hi, good morning, everybody. And so I'm actually now on the board for Power Over Parkinson's in Monterey. And, you know, my role there is I'm getting a lot of different roles. We just successfully had a pickleball tournament friendly for Parkinson's. We raised over $14,000 to help give scholarships for people in the Monterey County to go to the World Parkinson's Congress. And so that was very successful. And, you know, Naomi was so instrumental in just getting that thing going. And, you know, she would crack the whip like, this is not done. I'm like, I couldn't work for you because she'd fire me. So if you guys know anybody within the Monterey County area, please get a hold of us. We'd be more than happy to help them. We're actually have now a new movement disorder specialist in Salinas, Dr. Beheshti. And he's phenomenal. We brought him into the Monterey Bay Power Over Parkinson's, and just another great resource. You know how you meet a doctor for the first time and kind of like grade him? Like, you know, does this guy know his stuff? Is he backdated? Does he know all the different things and going on with Parkinson's? And this guy knows his stuff. I was very impressed. And so we're kind of very glad to have him within the community. The one thing I wanted to say and get out of it was Naomi had a situation. She was hospitalized the other day, and she had really large pains in her neck. And the doctor goes, I'm going to prescribe fentanyl. And I look up fentanyl does that interfere with Parkinson's medication? And red flags were coming up all over the place. And I said, no, you're not. And the doctor kind of looked at me like, who are you? I'm the doctor on duty. And so my point in that is that it's so important. And I like what Nancy's developing down in San Diego is it like a QR code. Now, I don't know, Nancy, if that QR code could be very applicable for the general population with people with Parkinson's, to where you send the QR code out, and that wherever you're at and within the hospital organization can scan that QR code, and specifically they can dictate. I saw something that maybe that can be helpful for anybody going into Parkinson's, because when she gets hospitalized, I bring my own pharmacy that I have with me
and sign letters.
And so I'm always butting heads with the head nurse, with the doctors and stuff like that.
Troublemakers just trying to.
Yeah. And then in the chart, they even put patients not listening to, and I don't care, because I'm going to advocate for my wife, and so that nothing interferes with her daily dose, consistent dose of her Parkinson's medicine.
My Cinemat, you know?
Yeah. So, so I just want to see if that's something, Nancy, that can be passed out. I'm sure that QR code could possibly help other people throughout the United States and possibly the world once it's developed and fine-tuned.
Yeah, that's our goal, is to develop it. We were talking about a QR code bracelet, but now I believe, so I'm actually looking into it for myself, rather than like, I'm traveling right now and I have a medical bag, to-go bag in my car and a binder with everything. My health history, my advanced healthcare directive, my pulse, my most recent labs, and then a complete second set at my home. And anytime I see anyone, I update it and I update the health history. Well, my goal is to get all that built into a database. And I'm looking at my health ID right now as maybe a protocol in which to do that. I'm in a blended family and it can take up to 6 participants. That makes sense to me. I've just started looking into it, but the idea would be that I could have on an Apple phone, and I'm not an electronics person, but I'm slowly getting there. And again, it's because I have a sensitive system, but I'm looking at getting an Apple Watch that would then, if I fall, it'll alert practically God and everyone, because I am active and I'm out and about, but I'm also in the senior years of my life, and I want to be safe. Same thing with a person with Parkinson's. So we're trying to fine tune it, and we're right at that stage right now as AI steps in, and what can we do to be the cleanest, the most efficient, and then not have to be schlepping bags and binders and whatnot with us everywhere. But we're looking, I was telling the group that San Diego's medical electronic system is going to all be Epic. And the hope is that, you as a person with Parkinson's hit the ED and the Epic comes up and they see you've got PD and they plug PD in and a whole protocol immediately comes to the fore. Hospitals are a very, very dangerous place for people with Parkinson's to be. And it's not against the medical staff. They're not exposed. They don't see enough of it. As a nurse, you're trained, or an aide, you're trained. I've got a 1 to 2 hour window for med disbursement. Not with Parkinson's, you don't. Not with Parkinson's. We have a running joke in the group. When people hit the hospital with Parkinson's, they will call one of us on the team. Take a wild guess as to the department where our board member, she's a little fiery, redheaded Irish woman. She ends up in the ED at a local hospital, and they were slammed. What hospital isn't? Take a wild guess as to what floor she was on that got her meds on time every time.
I would guess it was a cardiac ward.
Good guess, but no cigar.
Psych ward?
Nope. No, in the psych ward, I had a friend that she asked me to come, and she was being transitioned to the behavioral unit. And I watched the nurse, because I kept saying she needs her meds. I watched him give her a Ritari, and she starts to chew it. And without thinking, I jumped up, put my hand in her mouth, scooped it out, and I went, no, yes. Absolutely no. And I was shocked that I was doing it, but it was just a gut reaction. And they said, well, do you want to do it? And I said, yes, absolutely. And I got the meds in her. Then I said, hey, I hate to say this to you, but something's going on. She had COVID. Again, story for and they had tested her on a Friday. When she got in, it was now a Monday, and she had wanted me to come visit her to find out what I thought about her going onto the behavioral unit so she could adjust day and night, because she'd gotten her days and nights completely mixed up. No, so coming back, not the cardiac ward, not the psych ward. Think, people, think.
Maternity ward.
Yeah, who said that? Good for
Susan.
you. Labor and delivery.
Yeah.
And my daughter is the night supervisor at our huge, Mary Birch has a big labor and delivery department, and she's the night supervisor. So I said, oh my God, Courtney, you need to contact whoever runs that department. And she goes, Mom, trust me, it was not a labor and delivery nurse who did that. She was just put on that floor because they were overstaffed. But she said, I'm glad that they, got the meds in her on time every time. Yeah. So not that we want to have the protocol go, please request being put on labor and delivery, but.
What a fascinating story, Nancy. Thank you for sharing that. And that is room for thought.
And Myra, you haven't said anything.
That's right. When we have Bernard with his hand up, so real quick, we only have a couple of minutes since we're running over already. Tell us, Bernard, what do you have to share?
We have public conversations in which I follow the protocol, etc., and then we have the private conversations in our group all the time, in which we provide practical advice. And I'm gonna get a shirt, so when Denise has to go to the hospital in a hurry, it says, "I'm a PETA, pain in the ass." I let them know right off the bat. I applaud you for what you do, but we have 2 to-go bags. We have the one that they get to see and the one that I keep. And very simple protocol. If her meds aren't there on time, I go to my bag. Okay. And when they come in to give her meds, I say, I'll take that, please. Don't worry. You can, go until they get to know us. But we also tell our people, we train our people, you can't do anything about going in an emergency, but anytime you're going in for any other procedure, you need to have alerted the hospital in advance, giving them all of this information. Don't wait till you get there and they go down the list and check. No, send it in writing. They have to respond. That's in their protocols. So anyway, we have a whole list of pragmatic and practical things to do, but don't ever apologize for being a pain in the ass at the hospital. Introduce yourself, let them know who you are, why you're there. And then I usually say something trite like, and I'm part of her medical team. And they go, oh, you have an MD? And I said, no, I have a merit certificate. I'm an MC. That's it. And we all laugh about it, but it's serious. And that's what serious means. And somebody said all of San Diego is going on Epic. The good news is that's wonderful. That's a step closer. The bad news is all Epics are not the same. Depends on what each hospital negotiates in their subject. I mean, I was surprised to find this out because I have 6 doctors on Epic and only 3 of them can talk to each other through the system. And they're all on Epic. And so we've had in-depth conversations about the firewalls between various medical groups' version of Epic and what they don't translate. And then the final thing I'll say really quickly is there is a lot of work going on to inform hospitals or get a protocol in the hospitals that flag you like a fall victim. You get your armband that says you're a potential fall risk, to get one that says PD, which fires up the protocol. It's in some of the more progressive places, they're listening to it. Obviously, it's not across the country. It's not in a lot of rural places. It's not even in some urban places. But a lot of work is being done to change that. And so the more noise we make, the better for the rest of us. So you can spread that through your support groups. So
and that is a great topic, Bernard. Thank you for bringing all that up. Maybe we do create a binder with tricks and tips to get ready for, that hospital visit that can happen anytime. And, I love the idea of the health ID, the QR code, all those things that are going to make our, stay at a hospital more manageable, because it can happen. It's a matter of when it's going to happen. So we thank you everyone for taking the time, for sharing all these insights. We learn from you every day. So we appreciate that you are here, and we look forward to seeing you next month for another wonderful conversation. Thank you.
And thank
to
you.
all. We love you all. Thank you for being here. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.